Welcome to the 4 to 5, everybody. Eric Chilton here with Sydney Moore, Tim Buckley, Chad Silver, and a lot going on this afternoon.
That's right.
Yeah, you all been busy.
Very busy. We've had some extremely nasty storms, not everywhere, of course. There's sunshine behind us on that camera. But if you've been through it, you've really been through it. We got a lot of people in the dark right now. Trees down, power lines, and not done yet. So we're going to have a lot of radar for you throughout the newscast.
Yeah, right now we are tracking severe weather in and around Guilford County. Check out some of the pictures that you have sent us. Charlotte Brown took these pictures of huge hail that fell in advance. Then in High Point, they are dealing with trees down in several areas. This one fell near South Main Street. The storms are causing a lot of power outages too. There are more than 20,000 customers without power in Guilford County alone. And right now there is no timetable when it could be restored. Tim, sounds like this is a powerful storm that's moving through.
Chad, typically we kind of separate out severe weather into two categories. You have severe thunderstorms and then you have tornadoes, and we always kind of treat them differently. But in this case, today, some of those severe thunderstorms that we've seen have been as strong as tornado damage can be. What I mean by that, in Guilford County within the last hour and then moving over to Alamance County now, this storm in particular is what we've been calling a destructive severe thunderstorm. Your phone might have buzzed, mine sure did, and what it tells us is that there were wind gusts of 70 to 80 miles per hour likely within that storm. Now it has cleared Guilford County. You're in much better shape now in Guilford, but it is still in parts of southern Alamance, and we've really been talking about areas south of I-40 dealing with the really high wind. But in Alamance, it is still a mess. We have tons of rain, more lightning strikes than you can count. We're looking at Saxbahaw specifically, but what I wanted to show you, this is the velocity map. Usually it's in greens or reds. I don't often ever see blue here unless we're tracking a hurricane at the coast. This is hurricane level wind right now. Highway 54, not too far from Oaks, wind estimated by radar at about 76 miles per hour. If that hits the surface, it really downs a ton of trees and power lines. Burlington, your situation should be improving a little bit. Hang tight in Haw River and Mebane, but the worst event in Alamance right now is south of I-40. This blue streak is a hail map moving from Moxville to Wahlberg to High Point over to Pleasant Garden. That has started to weaken a little bit too. All of us have a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock. The good news is I think we'll be able to cancel that for our area closer to 7 p.m. That's when our threat should be winding down. We do have another severe thunderstorm warning right now just to the west of Asheboro. It is headed your way. You could expect some high winds and lightning. Here's the bottom line. Over the next little bit, we still have a storm risk. Until about 7 p.m. tonight, we're going to be watching for damaging winds, large hail. The tornado risk is pretty low, but you will still find some scattered storms. You can count on us. We're going to keep on having updates as needed throughout the newscast all the way up through 6:30.
Tim, thank you. It is so important to have a way to easily get severe weather alerts. The News 2 app is the best way you can do that. You can get alerts from our team in case of bad weather.
Let's now get to your 4 to 5 roundup. With roughly 2 weeks until the first day of school, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools is addressing vacancies. Superintendent Tricia McManus says they need almost 60 bus drivers across the district. She says they are doing everything they can to make sure the new year starts smoothly.
I want parents to know that we are working tirelessly to pick up kids on time, get them to school on time, and get them home on time in the afternoon. That is not something we are keeping our eye on that prize. That is our goal. We are just wanting everyone to have the realistic picture that 58 drivers short is going to impact the timeliness of our pickup and drop off.
McManus says parents should expect delays the first week of school. Bonuses are also being offered for new bus drivers, but only if they apply before Halloween.
Guilford County Schools says it's down 82 bus drivers. The district hosted an on-the-spot hiring event today looking for new drivers, teachers, and cafeteria workers. You can still apply for open positions on the district's website.
And looking ahead, Alamance Burlington Schools is expected to approve a cleaning contract for Newland Elementary. You'll remember last week inspectors discovered non-toxic mold in the building. They say it was caused by an HVAC issue similar to what they saw at Andrews Elementary a couple of weeks ago. Yesterday, the district announced administrators are working on a plan for Newland Elementary that could include relocating students and teachers. Indoor air quality will be tested at both schools to make sure it's safe for people to return for class.
This afternoon, a Greensboro family announced a federal lawsuit against a local apartment complex and its owners. It's related to an incident caught on camera at the Sedgefield Garden Apartments pool. You'll remember when video surfaced a couple weeks ago showing the complex's property manager, Kimberly Jennings, pouring soda on two kids, then hitting them. The kids did not live at the complex and say they know they were trespassing. Police arrested and charged Jennings for 2 counts of simple assault on a child under age 12. The lawsuit claims discrimination, assault, and emotional distress. Since the incident, Jennings has apologized. We'll hear from the family tonight at 6.
Former President Donald Trump is accused of trying to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in the state of Georgia. Late last night, a grand jury handed up an indictment against the former president and several of his allies. It's now the 4th criminal case that Trump is fighting as he runs for president again.
Former President Donald Trump is facing new charges, this time in the state of Georgia.
The indictment includes 41 felony counts and is 97 pages long.
Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis pursued the case, charging Trump and 18 of his allies, including attorneys John Eastman, Rudy Giuliani, and Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Trump himself is facing 13 felony counts, including violating Georgia's RICO Act, a racketeering law used to take down major crime organizations.
She likes it because she can wrap together a lot of activities with a great number of defendants and be able to bring in evidence against one that then spills over onto the others.
The RICO Act charge alone carries a mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison. Trump says he will present a report next week alleging election fraud in Georgia in 2020 that will clear his name. Trump slammed Willis during a campaign rally in New Hampshire last week, calling her a racist, and said he did nothing wrong.
I challenged the election in Georgia, which I have every right to do, which I was right about, frankly. And they want to indict me because I challenged the election.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp posted on social media Tuesday the 2020 election in Georgia was not stolen. He added that nobody has been able to prove claims of fraud in a court of law.
Back here in the Triad, a Forsyth County Sheriff's captain signed off for the last time, and it was very emotional. After 30 years, Captain Hall retired with an end-of-watch call. Making it even more special, his wife was on the other end of the call.
Today, I am retiring with 30 years of service as part of the most prestigious agency in the state. I have driven these roads and served the people of Forsyth County, and although I am retiring, the work must go on. To my work family, stay proactive, mentor each other, learn from each other, and most importantly, never forget where you came from. Hold the line, stay sharp, stay professional, finish that fight, and most of all, go home and take your own boots off each day. Love you all. 07-1042 for the final time.
It is my honor and privilege to be able to show you 1042-07 for the final time. For the past 30 years, you have put your heart and soul into this profession. You are the epitome of what a law enforcement officer should be. You are a mentor, leader, and friend. You've worked countless nights, weekends, and holidays without complaint. While this is the end for you as 07, we know this is just the beginning of a new chapter, one where you will continue to teach, to help others grow, and to mold the future of law enforcement. I am so very proud of you and count myself extremely lucky to call you my husband. I love you. 07-1042-1429.
Well, the Sheriff's Office says Captain Hall served in the K-9 unit, SRO Division, and Community Services. They say he's also received more than 21 letters of commendation over his time.
Gosh, you could tell how much the force and the team overall meant so much to Captain Hall, but not only just him, but his wife as well, too. Goodness.
You hear that emotion. I watched that, and as someone who's, on the other side of his career, downslope, I can't imagine what that feels like, because your career becomes such a part of who you are. And over time, even though everybody says, oh, I can't wait to retirement, when it gets there, it's emotional, I'm sure.
And I mean, to have your spouse in dispatch on the other end of that call, I just can't even imagine what it was like for him, but also for her. You know, I'd love to know more about their story. Did they meet at the sheriff's office?
Right, it
that'd
seems
be
like there's
yes.
something deeper there for
Yeah.
sure too. I'm interested in knowing too.
Yeah, it's very special. That's probably one of the best last watch calls I have ever heard.
And by the way, whoever, and it wasn't us that edited that was edited that way
Correct.
with the sheriff's department. They did an incredible job.
Bringing her in
Split
just like that, I
screen,
love
looked
that.
Really nice. All right.
Chills.
Congratulations. Yeah, we say that to you.
Enjoy retirement.
Yes, we'll take a break. Be right back.
All right, so National Dog Day is next weekend, and it's the perfect time to plan a trip for your furry best friend.
It's become more common since the pandemic, and more hotels are now offering pet perks.
Let's go. Norman and Stanley recently checked into Lowe's Hollywood Hotel in Los Angeles, luxuriating in views of the Hollywood Hills, new doggy bowls, and other hotel gifts.
We've had dog room service, and everybody has just been very welcoming for the dogs. They've been treated like royalty.
The brand offers the same VIP treatment across all of its hotels through its Lowe's Loves Pets program.
They'll be treated like you will be treated, like a superstar.
A recent survey found 78% of pet owners got animals during the pandemic, and another survey shows 55% plan to travel with them. Just down the road at the Kimpton Everly Hollywood, one of the hotels where we stayed for a special rate, pets get their own plush bed, colorful cookies, and a dog curry to toast along with their people.
Dog, cat, hamster, guinea pig, a peacock, whatever it is, they're welcomed here.
There are also plenty of pet-friendly options on the East Coast, like Crowne Plaza HY36 in New York City, which has large rooms for animals to run around, and pup packages at check-in that include gourmet treats and a MetroCard squeak toy.
Hello, Artemis.
Yvonne Wonder is taking advantage of the spike in pet travel with her national pet and child sitting business, Destination Sitters.
Our business is booming. I mean, there are so many more pet-friendly hotels.
Ready to make sure your pet gets an escape from that dog-eat-dog world.
Oh, well, at hotels that are not so pet friendly, the pet app Rover finds about 10% of travelers that have tried to sneak in their furry friend by hiding them in their luggage. Are you surprised by that?
No, not surprised at all.
So I am going to be the negative Nancy on the other side of this conversation, and I am glad that they will say we are pet friendly, because if they're pet friendly, I'm not staying there.
So I don't either, and I have dog. I've had multiple dogs. I don't do it either because I feel like it's just the hair and all the stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, you're gonna have 100 dogs that are all gonna behave, and then you're gonna have that one dog that will not stop barking the entire time.
Yeah.
We went to DC once and we took our dog, who now has passed away, but Arthur was a little small dog, 15 pounds. We took him with us, and the hotel's pet friendly. We left and went out for a night, on the town for a few hours. Came back and he was at the front desk with the person at the front, and I was like, "Oh no, what happened?" She goes, "Well, he was barking," and somebody called, but we went and got him, and he stayed right here with us the whole time. He was greeting guests as they came in.
Oh my goodness. I think I agree with your first comment as well.
Yeah,
too,
you laughed about it.
Yeah, I laughed because I was like, I agreed with that. Yeah, I'm with you.
I love pets, but you know
too.
what? If I'm somewhere where I'm paying a lot of money to stay, I don't want to be annoyed by noisy pets.
Get off of his yard.
Get off my yard.
All of you. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you. We're still tracking the storms, but a little bit better shape right now. In fact, a lot better than we were looking about 1 hour ago. We had an awful severe thunderstorm roll through southern Guilford, southern Alamance County, still kind of getting tabs on how much damage and what type of damage was in those areas. But we're seeing clearing sky in a bunch of the region. This does not mean you're totally home free. We're still seeing thunderstorms popping up. But as of right now, I do not have any severe warnings to pass along to you, not for our area. However, on the wide view, you can kind of get a sense of what's happening. There's a front right about here, basically in the foothills. Now, they are not seeing any storms. If you live in our foothill communities, you're fine. you should be storm free for the rest of the day. Now in the Triad itself, it's a little bit different. We're still seeing some different showers and storms popping up. We have one here in Randolph County with rain and lightning. We have one near Lexington. But these areas recently got pretty worked over from that bad storm just to the north. So it should help them to stay a little weaker. The air is cooler, for example. But there's still thunder, there's still lightning, there are still some downpours. It's happening right now on 73 just north of Asheboro with some frequent lightning strikes. Now, this is where the bad storm rolled through earlier. Take a look at the blue line on your screen. What that's estimating is hail size from earlier. It started in Moxville, then it rolled through northern Davidson County from Arcadia to Welcome, areas like Wahlberg, High Point, Pleasant Garden. That's where the storm tracked. And we're getting reports of so many downed trees, kind of difficult to count. Lots of power outages. Just heard from somebody that traffic is stopped on I-85 near the Groomtown Road exit going south. Things like that. We still have that severe thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock, but I'm here to tell you it is not going to run the full time for our area. We should be able to clear that out for you by around 7 o'clock this evening. Anyway, talked about the traffic jam. There it is, right there on South 85, right near the Groomtown Road exit. I can't confirm whether that's weather related or not, but that's the part of the storm that was really bad. Going into the next few hours, we'll still keep an eye on radar for you. Scattered showers and storms should start to wind down as we get closer to 6 o'clock or so. We're mostly looking at damaging wind concerns and hail for today. Hail that could look like that. You see that big stone from Advance earlier. These storms really meant business. 7-day forecast, it should be calmer and actually a little cooler, a little less humid heading into Wednesday. That'll be a reward for dealing with some of these storms. You're watching the 4 to 5.
All right, you want to check this out. Everybody loves smelling good, and if you have a bottle of perfume or cologne at home, there's a chance it includes a very special ingredient.
Yeah, right now the value of jasmine is booming around the world, and perfume makers can't get enough of it.
Perfume makers say the secret to jasmine is picking it at the right time, just before the flower blooms. But farmers in India know there's another: love. We love these plants like our children, says this grower. For thousands of years, jasmine's fragrant flowers have been used to honor the Hindu gods.
When you smell it, it takes another dimension. And to me, this flower is the expression of love.
But the signature scent comes at a price. A pound of jasmine oil sells for nearly $2,000. Master perfumers use the powerful scent in some of the world's most famous perfumes, including J'adore by Dior.
It is exotic, it is lush, it is rich, it is vibrant.
Extracting the oil takes hours, from picking the perfect buds to raking and waiting for the flowers to open before loading them into a machine. A special liquid then extracts the aroma to be bottled up and sold.
When it touches people across the globe, that feeling is another level.
Turning this humble flower into a prized perfume to be worn around the world.
So this jasmine is so special and connected to the region of India that it was given a special designation by the World Intellectual Property Organization.
Wow, look at that.
I don't know what jasmine smells like, but I suppose if I smell it, then it will be
You
familiar,
would recognize
right?
it's in a lot of things.
It is, yeah. I was just kind of looking around, so I had my head down, and then we popped up on camera there, and I had to hurry up and look up. I was paying attention because I love perfume. I have a lot of different kinds of perfumes, but there are multiple kinds of popular brands and things of that nature that has jasmine in it. But what was surprising to me was the cologne part of it too. I don't know. I was surprised to hear that it would be in cologne.
Like lotions, hand lotions. I've smelled it in that before. But Chad's right. It looks like popcorn. Looks like mounds of popcorn.
Right. I'm going to start growing some jasmine if it's that popular.
Absolutely.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
I don't know if our climate will work, but yeah, you can make some money.
All right.
Especially silver perfume number 3.
So it's pronounced silber.
I love that.
We'll see you at 4:30.
This is my first time in this kind of chat moment. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Nixon Norman, WFMY News 2.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5 on a very busy afternoon from a weather standpoint.
Yep.
It's been tough out there. One big thunderstorm about an hour ago doing a lot of this in a part of the Tri where a lot of people live. Southern Guilford County, Alamance County, busy spots. And I guess we're seeing a lot of snapped trees, a lot of people without power, those types of things.
Yeah, and this right here, this video is actually of a tree down across South Elm Eugene Street, south of 85 in Guilford County. The tree took out some power lines in the area, causing an outage right there at that intersection.
And some of those wind speeds were like hurricane force, Category 1 hurricane force, up 80 miles per hour.
Which sounds like an exaggeration, but a lot of you at home, you know, your phone, usually it buzzes for two reasons. Amber Alert, tornado warning. It doesn't buzz for a severe thunderstorm warning. This time it did because it was an extra destructive type.
I feel like I was hearing it all day too. Yeah, with that noise.
Very busy.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to show you the latest radar. Want to let you know where things are headed over the next couple of hours. And we have mostly good news here. We're not totally out of the woods. There is still a storm threat through about 6:30 to 7 o'clock tonight. But after that, you should be able to rest a little easier. Here's a live look at Burlington versus Ferguson comparison. Scattered clouds right now, but you're seeing the sun kind of come back out. It's muggy. It's hot. That hasn't changed. But the good news is right now I don't have any active warnings to pass along to you. We still have thunderstorms, but they are below severe limits. So right now we're looking here close to the high point where you've had a lot of damage, seen a lot of pictures of hail, trees down, power outages. You have another storm. Don't worry too much about this one. There is some lightning, but boy, is that just a run-of-the-mill, typical summer storm, no big problems. Closer to Liberty, not too far from the big mega site over there, you have some regular old rain. Same story in southern Alamance where it was so bad a little earlier. However, the damage does remain. We have crews headed to these areas to check out all the downed trees, all the power outages. I think at last check we were around that 20,000 mark in a lot of communities in Guilford. Scattered storms are starting to still pop up, but the one that did all the damage here is in Durham right now. They are still tracking 80-mile-per-hour winds on that thunderstorm. It is very, very intense. It's moving right there over toward the triangle. So if you have friends, family over there, they're dealing with the same storm that we had that put down a lot of hail. We technically still have this severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m., but this is for a big chunk of the state. They put that time on there to kind of include everybody. I'm telling you, we are not going to have storms until 9 o'clock. Look at Futurecast. We should be in pretty good shape by 7, 8 o'clock at the latest. We will be okay. But from here on out, have the phone close by. Just look out for any warnings. We will keep you posted if anything else pops up.
Tim, thank you. Our weather team is rated the most accurate in the Triad, so our app is the best way to stay weather aware and get weather alerts when necessary.
Another big story we're following this afternoon. 2 small earthquakes shook parts of Guilford County overnight. A 2.0 quake hit near McLeansville, then a 2.1 earthquake hit 3 minutes later near Huffine Mill Road and I-840 in Greensboro.
While they weren't strong enough to cause any damage, it was a startling surprise for some folks. WFMY News 2's Nixon Norman spoke to one woman who felt the quake.
Although considered a small earthquake, it was a literal wake-up call for Sharice Bryant and her family. She, among other McLeansville residents, also had no idea what they initially heard.
My little one slept through it, but my oldest, she's a teenager, so we both got up. We were in the hallway. We're trying to figure out what it was, and she was terrified. I was terrified, so we kind of stayed up till like 4 or 5 this morning. But after we heard it was an earthquake, I was like, okay, you know, kind of calm down. But I mean, if that was a 2.0, I wouldn't want to experience anything stronger than that.
Now, this was Bryant's first time experiencing an earthquake. But here's what some of you also said on Facebook. Ms. Clyburn posted, I was terrified, rather. Our bed was shaking and it was strong enough to knock down items in my shower. Janine says, yes, heard and felt a boom, then a second one. Wow. Ryan had heard booms and then my bed shook. And Rebecca posted here in McLeansville, slept right through it. Guess I have a great mattress. Now guys, I'm with Rebecca. I did not hear this also, though I don't live there. I live in Greensboro, so that might have been the reason why. What about y'all?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything as well too, but I did see people kind of talking about it on social media and things of that nature, and was looking forward to coming into the newsroom to hear more. But yeah, I slept straight through.
Didn't hear a thing.
Same way, and I was actually up. You know, I'm a night owl. I kind of wish I'd felt it.
Right.
Really?
I mean,
I would like to
you can
feel,
say, oh,
yeah.
wow, that was an earthquake.
Since it's a 2, I would handle that.
True. Hey, news 2.
That's right, that would work.
2.0 tornado. I mean, not tornado,
People in
earthquake.
McLeansville can do some
Right.
video for us, so hey.
Yeah. All right,
That's
Nixon,
right.
thanks.
Thank you.
Well, help is on the way to families devastated by the Maui wildfires in Hawaii. North Carolina-based Samaritan's Purse airlifted 17 tons of emergency aid from PTI to the island this morning. They sent equipment, resources, and volunteers. Some people from the organization have been in Maui since Thursday, helping and assessing the damage. Efforts continue as 80% of the buildings are destroyed and more than 1,000 people are still missing.
And leaders in Hawaii say they have now confirmed 99 deaths in those devastating wildfires.
The search for missing people continues as crews have only covered a quarter of the area.
1 week since flames destroyed the historic town of Lahaina,
It's gonna be okay.
survivors are struggling with trauma and loss.
I can't get my dog.
This couple was unable to save their family pet when the inferno broke out, but did their best to stay strong for their young daughter.
I don't think a 6-year-old should ever have to see what she saw, but she's resilient.
As the human death toll grows, members of the Hawaii National Guard have joined the search and recovery effort.
My dad's still there and he refuses to come out, but there's certain things that he still needs.
Authorities are working to confirm the identities of the victims they have found so far. It's been a full-scale effort to help survivors here on Maui. State and county officials relocated a donation drop-off site to the parking lot of the island's largest mall in place of 2 gymnasiums where school is set to start.
Whatever you need, you're going to get.
Speaking at an event in Milwaukee, President Biden addressed federal relief efforts.
Every asset they need, we'll be there for them. And we'll be there in Maui as long as it takes.
It's unclear whether downed power lines played a role in igniting the blaze. The exact cause of the wildfires is under investigation.
Representatives from the White House say there are conversations underway to see if a trip to Maui is possible for President Biden.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, an unusual situation happening at the Outer Banks. Cape Lookout National Seashore is warning about visitors getting stranded on a small island. Experts say a narrow sand bridge has appeared recently connecting Shark Island and Cape Lookout. The seashore says in the last 2 weeks there have been at least 2 rescues of visitors getting trapped as the tide rises behind them. They say the rescues are very complex and dangerous, and they're urging people to avoid the area.
Scientists at NASA say July was the hottest month on Earth since record keeping started 104 years ago. They say the global temperature was 2.02 degrees higher than the average temperature of 60.4 Fahrenheit. Officials at the United Nations suspected that July would break records before the month was even over, but now agencies have confirmed those suspicions.
Big news regarding the future of the Carolina Hurricanes hockey team. PNC Arena will remain its home for at least the next 2 decades. The team revealed today a 20-year lease extension. The agreement also includes a $300 million investment. The money will go toward major renovations at the arena and surrounding area.
There's some controversy brewing around a popular football-inspired movie. Former NFL player Michael Orr, portrayed in the movie The Blind Side, was filed a lawsuit saying that the couple that claimed to adopt him lied. The petition filed in a Tennessee court claims Sean and Leanne Toohey falsely represented themselves as his adoptive parents. Orr claims the Tuohys offered to be his conservators on the basis that he would be a member of the family. This year, Orr says he learned the couple never actually adopted him. Now he's asking for the conservatorship to be terminated and that the Tuohys be required to pay both compensatory and punitive damages.
So
Such
this
a weird.
Yeah. So I did a little research on this because I was trying to figure out what is going on. What I think is his money he made in the NFL is his, but it's the money from the book and the movie that he didn't get a piece of. So he's saying now I should have a piece of that because you did not legally adopt me. Now the parents are saying, especially the Sean Toohey, the dad, is saying that they did it for NCAA reasons so that he could get in SMU, which was his alma mater, to play football. we have to wait and see, right? This is going to be a whole legal thing.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear all of this now, and I think of The Blind Side as well too, something that I believe came out in about 2009-ish,
Yeah,
a little
roughly.
far back then. So, but definitely interesting story that I know is going to keep and continuing to develop.
My initial question when I first heard about this is, why now? Why is this coming out now? I mean, that was years ago.
He's 37 years old. Yeah, I was kind of thinking to myself, why? Maybe he just discovered it, but even so, I still feel like he probably made a lot of money in the NFL. But I do understand if he thinks I deserve rights to that money, then they can. I'll bet you it'll settle. You watch. I'll bet they'll do something. They settle.
Almost sounds like there was some sort of fallout,
Might have
falling
been.
out between
Might have
them,
been.
and it just kind of inspired this.
We'll see.
That's right.
We're
We'll be
gonna
right
take
back.
How many licks does it take to get to the middle of a Tootsie Pop? A 1, a 2, a 3, 3. It'll actually go that long or not. Let me move this over some so you don't see 4. I don't know. You'll have to look at it and see. Can you put the thing in there?
Maybe the studios paid the book and then the book paid the family or something.
Yep. I'm going to go get a stand because I'm so short. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. August 15th, it is Check the Chip Day, as in check the microchip that you have in your pet. And if you don't have one on your pet, you might want to think about getting one. The American Humane Association estimated that over 10 million dogs and cats are lost or stolen every single year. And get this stat, 1 in 3 pets will become lost at some point during their life. So the microchip, you know, it has an ID number, and then you go online and you put in your name and you put in your contact information and stuff. That way, if your pet gets lost, they put the scanner on it, so you like the dog with the scanner, right? And then they can read it and they can get in touch with you.
Easy. My dog runs away all the time. So
And I always get sad
I'm not
seeing
kidding. So we have him chipped.
Yeah, I always get sad seeing the signs anyway that say help me find my dog. I feel like we see more and more and more of those signs.
I'm kind of surprised that we haven't gotten to the point where you can, like, that chip has like GPS in it.
So there is a dog collar. I looked into this because my dog does run away all the time. There is a dog collar, but you have to pay a monthly subscription plus buy the collar, and it is not cheap.
So what I did was I just got an Apple tag, air tag, and I stuck that on my
That's a good
dog's
idea.
collar. And so I just track her by my phone.
There is no monthly fee for that.
There is no monthly fee for that one.
Yes.
Now, the cost of a microchip can be anywhere from like $10 to like $50, so it's good to call around to your local animal shelter or your pet supply store, but whatever you pay, I gotta tell you, priceless when your pet is lost. I want you to listen to this story. Isn't Ryder cute? For 2 weeks, this little Chihuahua Terrier mix was missing from his home in Las Vegas. Somehow, he made it from Vegas to San Diego. I don't know how he made it that far. No one knows but the dog itself. The dog was brought into the Humane Society there. Finding Ryder's family, though, was very easy.
This reunion with Ryder is the prime example for why we want pet owners to microchip their pets. Had it not been for this microchip, we would have never located them, most likely.
Oh my God, I cried. I didn't want to believe it. So, because Monday was 2 weeks he'd been gone. So I was almost sure we weren't going to find him anymore, you know.
Thank goodness for that microchip.
It's a long way.
Around
Somebody,
2 weeks.
somebody picked that dog up.
Somebody picked that dog up.
Well, around 2 weeks, this is when you start getting extremely discouraged as well too, thinking that it might not happen. So I was just seeing the little tail wag back and forth as well too. Beautiful reunion.
Happiness. Happiness. All right, so one of the biggest mistakes that people think is that the chip does all the work. So it does have that ID number, right? But if you don't go online, put in your contact information, then there's just an ID number there. So don't think that just because your dog got microchipped that everything's done. So today, make sure that you put in that info and find out for sure that your dog has all the stuff there.
Very important.
All right, so with pets in mind, you know, we might be looking at some pet insurance over the next couple of days. I'll be bringing you guys that as well, because for the first time ever, Consumer Reports looked at 8 different pet insurance companies to see whether it's worth it or not. Do you have pet insurance?
I do not.
Do you?
I don't. I wish I would have, because my dog just had ACL surgery, and that was all out of pocket, friends.
Wow. And what would it have covered?
Well, so the vet that I usually talk to said that she had it for her dog, and it covered 80%.
Wow.
80.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
And this was thousands of dollars.
Goodness.
For a
ACL
dog to have
surgery.
ACL surgery.
Goodness.
Right.
Oh.
I know you're thinking to yourself, that dog is so not worth it.
I'm not thinking that.
I know what you were thinking.
Yeah. Well. So you're gonna have that story maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Okay.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Okay.
All right, back with you now. We're tracking the storms still across the area, which have left a path of damage in some parts of the area. Not everywhere. You can tell, too, who had a little rain and who didn't. Look at the temperature difference. Winston-Salem sitting at 93 degrees. Elsewhere, some folks are in the 80s or even in the 70s. It all depends on if you've had those storms, and if you have, unfortunately, they might have been really bad. That one storm that we were tracking for you that went through High Point, Jamestown, Pleasant Garden, over to Alamance County, that's all the way over in the Durham area now, and boy, is it still just as strong. This is our live radar. Currently in Randolph County, we have a couple scattered storms. You never want to be outside when there's lightning, but these are not likely to be damaging storms. They're small, they're not severe at the moment, and they don't look to be growing all that fast. The same storm that caused all the damage around here that we are still assessing, it is in the Triangle area, and look at this mess. Countless lightning strikes, hundreds of them. This is near Durham. You can't tell because the storm is blowing up the whole map here with labels, but they've had about 60,000 people without power in and around city of Durham in just the last little bit of time. That is that same one that went through Guilford and Alamance counties. Now, technically, yes, we do still have a severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. I'll give you my opinion right now. I think most of the severe weather is done for our area. And I think we're probably done by 7, not 9. So that's when it mostly is clearing out for the Triad itself. There might be a lingering shower overnight tonight, but one thing I haven't talked about enough, improving weather. Going into tomorrow, we're going to see improving comfort, improving conditions. We're actually going to get a little bit calmer and less humid. So by tomorrow afternoon, it'll feel a little bit better than it has for today. Let's show you the 7-day forecast. Haven't had much time for it today. No chance for rain out there for the rest of the week. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s tomorrow morning. Slightly lower humidity. We'll call for a high of 86 degrees on your Wednesday. Similar for Thursday, but it will be getting more humid and a little hotter heading into that upcoming weekend.
Tim, thank you. We've seen some severe weather today in the Triad.
Yeah, it's been 1 week since the Carolinas were slammed by the heavy storm and knocked out power for thousands from Charlotte to Raleigh.
That led us to a viewer question asking why every time we have a storm, it seems like Duke Energy suffers power outages. Megan Bragg verifies the facts. Thank you.
This is a look of the map during last week's power outages. More than 300,000 customers in the Carolinas were without electricity at some point. Duke Energy says this is mainly because of downed trees knocking out power lines. One person asked this: when we have storms, it seems Duke's energy always goes out. Why does Duke Energy always have power outages? Can't they prevent this? One solution some people have suggested is putting the transmission lines underground. But would that really help? Let's get the facts. Our source is Jeff Brooks, communication officer with Duke Energy, and a study by the North Carolina Natural Disaster Preparedness Task Force.
This storm was so powerful. It had 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts and that heavy rain. And that combination together loosens the soil and makes it more likely that we're going to see down trees and down limbs.
Brooks says trees are the leading cause of power outages in North Carolina. That's why he says it was no surprise many people were without electricity because of the high winds and downed trees.
We often hear, well, why can't you just put all the power lines underground?
It's a great question, one we've seen as well. But Brooks says it's not as simple as people think, and it may not solve the problem.
You still have outages on underground lines. They can get water damage, they can get rodents, they can get dig-ins, which is a common cause that causes very extended outages because underground lines take longer to repair.
Burying power lines would also cost you, the consumer, a pretty penny. In 2003, the North Carolina Natural Disaster Preparedness Task Force studied what it would cost consumers if lines were put underground. They said your power bill would be more than double what it is now. Brooks says Duke Energy continues to work in different areas to make transmission lines stronger and more storm resistant and to clear trees when needed. With your Verified Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
Hey there, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Hi, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey.
Hi, Brett. 1, 2, 3. Tens of thousands are in the dark, primarily in Guilford County.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
Hi. Oh, God, that's a lot on my IFB. Hi. Just kidding. Nixon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, it's time for my 2 cents, and today we're talking fall. You know, something happens, right? When we get to that middle of August, our minds kind of start looking forward to the next season coming in. You know, there is a psychological reason, apparently, why we love fall. This is from verywellmind.com. I was searching around for this because I know I'm very nostalgic about fall. I love it. And they listed a couple things. So one, they call the fresh start effect. This makes sense to me because even when we were kids, fall and that cooler weather means back to school. You get excited about buying your school supplies or going back. Football, sports start again. There are reasons that fresh start effect actually takes a hold of us and makes a difference. For me, I would throw in holiday anticipation because, you know, once the weather starts getting cooler, Thanksgiving and Christmas aren't too far away, at least for me and my household. Those are two big ones. And then the website also said back to nature. I didn't think about this one, but it's true. Cooler weather means outdoor activities are a lot more enjoyable and easier to do, and you're not risking having heat stroke in late September into October when you're outside taking walks and getting back to nature. That's a calming thing, right? When you do those hikes and it's kind of cool and comfy out there, you know, nice little sweater weather, we like that. So I guess, you know, to wrap it up, there are psychological reasons why fall is a good thing for us. Plus, we've kind of had it with warm weather by then. But don't worry, by next March, we'll be praying for 70s and 80s, I'm sure, again. But get ready, fall is on the way. And it's not just all about leaves and pumpkin spice, everything. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Loud storms leaving a mark in parts of the Piedmont Triad. Listen to that. Winds whipping through Guilford County, making for a dangerous drive. This video was shot in Pleasant Garden.
The strong gusts have left quite a bit of damage.